New Horizons isn't my favorite Animal Crossing, but the reasons for why I think so might be best reserved for a different 2-hour video. Holy crap, my writer brain is way more prepared for this than my logical brain. What I'm hinting towards is charm. New Horizons has so little, it deterred my daily playing for the first time in my life since I started. Now I need to fill the gap between A&H and the next AC installment. It would be pretty nice if you also fall from the ceiling. Thus, I compiled 12 potential Animal Crossing clones and pit them against each other for 2 weeks, eliminating one every day until I found the best of them. Apparently playing 12 simultaneous towns in New Leaf didn't exactly net good results, so I guess I'm doing round 2 by actually picking different games. Day 1! I played every game in day 1 all throughout their introduction, which means until the game lets me explore on my own. Some games have short intros, so it's 15 minutes max. But I technically let myself take as long as I needed. On following days, I will play 3 hours divided by the amount of games to play. Starting with Animal Crossing Game Boy. Developed by Villager JJ, this fan game attempts to pseudo-port Animal Crossing to GameCube. You meant to write Game Boy on the script, past Nate. Featuring a 22-acre town, NPCs, and a full set of interesting visuals. I started noticing the dialogue is basically one-to-one with Animal Crossing PG. Named myself Nate because names went up to 4 letters and I find it fitting, and then the game actually started. I could tell the game was relatively early in development as a lot of features seemed unfinished and I softlocked once. There's no interiors, you can't buy stuff, you can't sell stuff, there's basically nothing to do but look around. So I did that for 15 minutes. Castaway Paradise. This Animal Crossing clone is quite different. While it does include talking mostly to animal characters and living in an island you can customize, the design trends more towards mobile games, with long wait times and stuff. I see this because the developer is called Stolen Church Games, which I find rather ironic because it doesn't actually steal as many elements as you'd imagine. You do what you do in day 1. You learn the controls, make yourself a woman because variety, and enjoy harvesting some corn. I met different islanders in this game which are hard-coded. I did a few quests and honestly, I got in the groove by the 10th minute. It's one of those games where you spend a lot of time mindlessly doing one of the many tasks, and it mostly made me wonder why editing isn't as satisfying to me, but instead of me calling out my own laziness, I finished the session hoping to play more. Disney Magical World 2. Despite this game being made for the Switch, I opted to use the 3DS version, just because I felt like it. I need to continue using my baby! Anyways, I specifically named myself Elsa because I urge you not to name yourself after things you don't have the rights to, which is really unusual for these kinds of prompts, but whatever, I think I just really let myself go with that one. Sorry. So you get into a town filled with Disney characters and somehow it has less magic than some other games I played for this. The intro for this game is fucking long at 40 minutes. They just handhold you so much in this game, and for the tutorial it's particularly egregious. For 40 minutes I was just walking and reading pointless dialogue. Eventually I learned I can turn into a ballerina for maximum walking efficiency. Not long before I understood I had basically willingly chose to sell my soul to Disney for this game. I also noticed how weird Mickey Mouse sounds, since I'm used to his Kingdom Hearts 3 voice, but outside of that, I can tell kids would like it. This game has a mechanic where you are rewarded with social validation for conforming to someone else's idea of design, which, if you think about it, is really weird and I'm not sure what Disney is trying to say with this. Now, you're saying this doesn't look like Animal Crossing, but hear me out. You move into a town filled with animals, you talk to them all day, have customizable houses, and there's fishing with Donald. You know, the guy that does this? Also the time of your system is the time of the world. So, despite playing for 40 minutes, it did continue introducing stuff all throughout, which means the game is decked out with mechanics. This is bound to be entertaining, even if it may not be as good as I imagine.
What is going on? How did Tasmanatul beat you?
Ento, developed by Dragoon and a few other people, this game is only the bug hunting mechanic of Animal Crossing. Simple. It's visually chill and doesn't take too long to get into the game, as you can't customize your character or anything like that. In fact, saving is a little iffy. So I got in, watched the intro cutscene, learned the mechanics and managed to catch 1 or 2 bugs at most, I guess. If it passes to the next day, I think I'll do better at catching bugs. Florid Forest. This is a plug for my own clone of Animal Crossing. That's right, this whole video is... Okay, no. I added it to see how it fares with the others. Despite some long load times, the town is fully customizable and a sandbox. I got in, wrote a card with some birds who asked me some weird stuff, and then I learned the controls from their tutorial. Then I spent some time exploring the town to see what I'm working with, and boom, that's 15 minutes. The game lets you save, so I'll keep coming back to this world for a few days, I think. I love the 5 AM track of this game, by the way. I think it's the first game in the list that has hourly music, but there's at least another 2 games here that do that as well. Gifpia. This game never made it out of Japan, yet it's super GameCube core. It looks, feels, and plays like if Animal Crossing and Pikmin had a made-out session. And now it's a cult classic. Anyways, since all the text is in Japanese, allow me to explain. The plot of this game is that your main character Pokorun misses his bar mitzvah because he fell asleep in the middle of a typhoon, and everyone is so angry it gets treated as treason. He is put in jail and will only be allowed out on probation till his debts are settled. Furthermore, you won $500 million so you can do your coming of age ceremony again to the government, because otherwise they cannot legally recognize you as an adult. This game is honestly super clever in its progression, because you get more privileges as you progress. So, for the first day, we can't even walk or look at our face since we don't have face privileges. I got robbed at the Totem Ferry for taking too long picking up trash, got my shackle off, talking about the in-game one, or the one I have all the time, which, mind you, is purely a fashion statement, it does not mean anything at all. Anyways, now I can go home and save. Honestly, this game is super charming. You can eat stuff and talk to villagers, there's a Nook-like store. It's very Animal Crossing despite not being tied to real time. Even if translating all the Japanese dialogue with my phone using Google Translate is a little annoying, I didn't mind it here because the dialogue is actually genuinely fun, and the fact that I can tell it's fun through the Google Translate says something about how charming this game is. The Hidden Land, The Lost Village. This game is made by Josh, and the latest version of the game crashed on me. So I'm playing an earlier version. This is another Animal Crossing clone in a different style, with its own personality and timely music and stuff. Sadly, due to playing an earlier version, not all the features are available. Still, what we have here is pretty impressive. The game saves, is customizable, has a money system, and it's super solid. Due to the time it took to debug the version that didn't work in my computer, I didn't really end up doing much. I saved, looked around town, talked to some people, and that's about it. As it turns out, people don't really have much of an AI, so we might not see much of these people as I continue to play on these days. Hoko Life, developed by Wonderscape. This is an Animal Crossing New Horizons clone without real time. It's rough around the edges and takes all of inspiration from New Horizons. Still, super similar in structure and design. As you can see, I'm orange, so I named myself Orange Nate. Then I got the wrong hair, so now I look like this. What is this hairdo? A hair don't? Day 1 consisted on meeting the first villager on some basic game mechanics. The town seemed customizable and villagers are random, so that's neat. Visited the beach, then I chopped enough wood to get myself a home, and that ends the game's intro. I still am limited to half the town and can't buy stuff at the store, but this is Animal Crossing in everything but being stuck to real time. But you know, seeing how newer players play New Horizons, it might actually be a better system for you all new bloods. You filthy cheaters on your time travel. Magician's Quest Mystery Times. This game is probably the most obvious Animal Crossing clone that actually builds off the concept. You play as a wizard, which I named Baguette for no absolute reason, then I enrolled into Magic School Hog Squeeze. Honestly, the game is super fun and entertaining. I ended up overshooting the deadline by a little in my confusion. I looked at my dorm, I went to a class that taught me how to use all of my tools, which means I didn't have to buy them, and I started talking to these villagers, which are actually kind of lively. They have nice dialogue that is super silly to listen to, even if it repeats itself a little. These classes teach you the game mechanics, but different events happen during them, like getting papers with rude messages or having to answer a question. Their exploration was neat. The town layout is incredibly dynamic, which actually feels much better than Animal Crossing has ever felt since the GameCube era, though I think this is hard-coded, so it's not as impressive. The villagers being magic related, they need a whole bunch of species like frogs and rabbits, which turned out to be surprising, but I'm all for it. Here's Frank, I like him. They are all dope though. Here's me getting stuck noting the fishing mechanics are different, and then I spend an uncomfortable amount of time on a taxi. Twice. So I called it a day while hungry for more. I'm excited to continue playing this one on the coming days. I was not joking when I said this is uncomfortably long. Oasis, developed by Vertex, brings us the furthest thing from Animal Crossing on the list. You play as this weirdo, meet a bunch of weirdos, the game doesn't save, but the aesthetics can be interesting and it has enough Animal Crossing elements. Honestly, I had to give it multiple shots to learn how to plant the seed, which I got, so I didn't even get the cash on day 1. I did get a gecko though. I'm a winner in life. I have a YouTube career that has totally earned me sufficient cash for it to be viable in the long run. Excuse me, that was a Giftopia reference. I found this blue guy who is insanely cute and wants an orchid, but I only have ovaries, so goal acquired, and then I went to the next game. Not saving means I start from scratch tomorrow, but it's alright as I didn't get anywhere near far. Crap, I said oblaries instead of ovaries again, no. Pet DS, another Japanese exclusive, but this one has a whole ass bucket full of pointless dialogue, which means it took forever to get through and I learned basically nothing. Spoilers, I'll get more annoyed at this every single day. But that's not the game's fault entirely, so I got sucked into the game, tried to write my name in hiragana and gave up, made my character, and began looking at the colorful world of animals and pastel colors. It took me 14 minutes to be able to move as translating the dialogue extends the duration by 3, and it's not till 20 minutes in that I managed to pick up Excalibur, or like a brew version of it, which I think is magic but I'm not sure. Anyways, the guy who watches me do it has a legend that whoever manages to get the broom out is a legendary house owner, so he gives me the house for free. Then he proceeds to explain what a bed is, what a gramophone is, what a closet is. Here's when it gets annoying for real. I could have intuited all of this. Then this garbage bag guy shows up, and apparently everyone hates him because he's an asshole, but despite that he teaches you the game mechanics perfectly, and the most rude thing he says is that you're kinda boring. After another 10 minutes, I get to the meat and potatoes. I adopted this cute pink bear as my pet. Usually I'm into it the other way around, but I digress.
I want you to make me a pet. Kinky.
The game continues pointlessly explaining stuff like how pets will follow you and shit. It's annoying. But yeah, I learned to put the bear in my head and how to take pics of us. Then I swung and noticed I was out of tutorial land, so I finished playing for the day. 50 minutes! Wow, pets didn't even join you in bed. What the fuck is this? If you think I meant anything weird by that last statement, I know I didn't. Stop. And finally, the 12th contestant, web fishing. By Lem Developer, I made a character, and now I just hang around and fish. The Animal Crossing inspiration is visually evident. This game was actually originally online, hence the name, but the official server is down, so sadly I know how to play alone. It's super chill though, and I'm probably gonna keep it for just chatting streams in the future. To make a long story short, I have a message for Developer West.
Please DM me the source code so I can modify it to my liking and work off your project. Otherwise, I will show up at your house and I will demand it by force.
And then maybe we'll have coffee, I don't know, depends on whether or not I think you're cute. In the game, I learned to fish. It took me a few tries. Ended up catching 5 fish, and it wasn't that eventful, mostly charming. I kinda really love the feeling of an Animal Crossing NPC. They have no responsibilities, they talk about food all day, no contracts, no further debts to be paid. They're just chilling, and I like that, so that's my life for a few days, I guess. And thus, ended day 1 at basically 4 AM. It took a while to set up and play all the games, so now here's the cool quiz. I didn't play the games in the presented order. Can you guess which way I ordered them for presentation? Anyways, it's time for an elimination! Animal Crossing Game Boy is just not a game. It would be neat had it any mechanics, but being an unfinished thing and development not having continued, plus the fact that it's just a visual slideshow with some late dialogue, didn't really help. I appreciate what it does, and it's certainly more Animal Crossing than some stuff that's still here, but playing any more of it would result in nothing to do for too long. I like games that I can play, so, yeah, queue in the next day! Day 2 saw 16-minute play sessions, only slightly longer, but I'm gonna round down the numbers in every situation. Also, from now on, the game order will be completely randomized in RNG, so, you know, be on the lookout for the games you like and see if they get eliminated. Starting with Giftopia Day 2! It opened up the game to some limits. I'm still in parole, but now I can use the game's mechanics properly, such as eating to recuperate energy and doing some side quests. The game soundtrack also starts going hard today. There's many amazing Japanese songs with unusual forms that are incredibly fun. I started the day looking at a porn magazine, but no, it's just a normal magazine. And yes, the game itself made the joke. I put this mushroom in the fridge, and this makes it 10 times more expensive for some reason later. I explore the area around my home, talk to a dog and a friend, though apparently I can't speak to them because it's illegal for me to have friends now. The first goal of the game is 10,000 money, so after realizing selling food would make it too slow, I decided to take a part-time job placing some signs that fell during the earlier typhoon, and fearing the Depth Ferry, I had to finish the day earlier. At least the job got me halfway through the goal. Maybe on the L3, I'll get my face back. Oasis Day 2, after learning the mechanic on day 1, I actually made some progress on the second attempt, mostly playing around with the game's large quantity of bugs. I managed to make an only up stage before I realized something. I can place my ovaries on the ground and pick them back up to have infinite ovaries! Too bad I'm not having enough NPCs that buy ovaries showing up, because I couldn't really progress on the game because of this, though I did see the nighttime music and vibes, which are actually super chill. Sorry bunny dude, I swear tomorrow I'll do it big. Crap, I said oblaries instead of oblaries again, no! Day 2 for Prospect the Ass. This time everything was much more smoother. Still a lot of pointless dialogue, such as 7 lines about being able to bathe your pet in the tub or letting them sleep in a bed, and you have to actually watch them sleep and pet them or they don't get any rest. After a bit, my boyfriend, which I named TD, was fed, rested, and washed. He undid that in 10 seconds. God damn it. After translating more pointless dialogue that actually says nothing at all, I convinced the tree to talk to me. My mother pestered me about taking my schizophrenia meds, but well, who cares about that? That let me travel to a giant monster in the sky that vomited dreams that look like candy, which I now need to collect, and I swear my psychologist is not very familiar with the concept of games, it seems. For is day 2. Okay, so I actually got to play the game in full this day, thinking of ideas about town decorations and stuff, since it's all free. I also decided to remove my weeds from the town while looking at the flowers in the river, which I'm super sure should be there because goddammit, I coded it otherwise! But besides that, a very uneventful day. Knowing the game means I've already done stuff casually, so I'm not sure how to handle this. I'm going too fast, and I can't believe a positive bias is bad for once. And today 2 followed soon in some aspects. This time I got through a day, caught some stuff, several bugs of all kinds, and even a golden beetle. I noticed flying bugs were easy to catch while beetles are relatively random in their behavior, so you miss them quite often. Besides that, I noticed the game looks really good despite the jank. Next was Disney Magical World 2 Day 2, that's 2 for 2 or 4. My soul belongs to Disney now, so Day 2 is a bunch of getting resources and doing manual labor for the toons.
I'm in a hell of my own creation.
Eventually, Yensid calls me over because my heart is so pure and nice that I can use magic! Have they made jokes about schizophrenia, murder, and BDSM play in this video? How do I qualify? Point is, he made me angry by not making me a keyblade wielder.
So when are you gonna teach me how to use a keyblade, motherfucker?
I guess I do qualify because I am nice, believe in my dreams, and never give up, hence why I'm here on YouTube, but it's weird to think Disney isn't concerned with morality. Then I used this magic to help Chip and Dale kill some ghosts in the slowest, less dynamic dungeon ever. But anyways, now they let me make furniture to place at home, which I do at the end of the day, still learning new mechanics today too. As much as I make fun of this being Disney, I'm impressed by the variety of gameplay mechanics they have implemented here. Magician's Quest Day 2, this went off without a hitch. I explored the shopping area to find I could buy and sell after talking to Frank a lot. I really like this guy. During my exploration, I actually found the most insane thing. A human NPC! A human villager! This is a villager who is human and feels normal! I cannot stress how insane and cool this is. There's a human in my town, and the shocking part is not that reproduction is now in the cards, but rather that I actually belong in this world? I feel like I'm not an anomaly, and that's insane! This game is quickly positioning itself as the most likely to win. I also made an alien? What? Then I brought a broom and zoomed around flying in a broom! This game is amazing! Everything I do is cool and exciting. I need to drink to commemorate this. Hold on. Whoa, you're selling this to an underage kid? Anyways, I drunkenly visited the hairstylist and a weird lady that may be useful later. I ended up the day worrying about tomorrow's hangover. Okay, correction. At 2 AM I wanted to hear the nighttime music, so I booted the game quickly, learned about spells, and found the museum. I think it was important that I mentioned that. Castaway Paradise Day 2. The day was full of trying out the game mechanics. I fished and cleared my garden for proper vegetable growth. I think they started to show its colors as a Stardew Valley clone, but the fact that the lighting is based on real time stood out. I do mention this because I didn't expect the lighting to change because there's only one background song constantly looping in the background, which is really weird and I don't like it, but hey, at least the lighting is different. Tons of Island was cleaned and cleared, but as I said, it's mostly menial tasks and many objectives, which means I didn't significantly progress in 17 minutes. Most I did was sell some trash, and apparently crypto coins don't sell for very high. Hoko Day 2. I noticed the game is obsessed with making me go back and forth into town, almost padding out the game's intro. Go to Moss, go to visit villagers for the requests, go back to Moss to talk about the request, he sends you back to the town to talk with the villager that teaches you crafting, collecting resources and craft, go back and tell Moss again that you made the things, put the things in the town, go tell Moss again that he's a needy piece of shit, that he needs to stop coming onto me like that, it's creepy. So many of his dialogues are just him going, hehe, and laughing. What are you planning? Here's when I found something that made me a wooga! Achievements that unlock stuff.
In a way, I'm gonna exist in a world where I don't sprint.
Since unlocking sprinting was really easy, I set out to do that while trying to turn the pig into bacon and ended up making a bridge by mistake. Like, how did this happen? Plop! I explored and was unimpressed with the size of your town, but that was enough for the day, so I went to bed. Okay, not for real. Like, there's still 2 more games I have to play in day 2, so I didn't go to bed for real, only in the game. The Hidden Village continued into me actually playing the game. I got a net from selling flowers, which I later used to catch bugs and buy furniture. As it turns out, house updates and town unlocks are extremely expensive, so I settled for simply getting my house decorated for the day. It's actually like in Animal Crossing where you must wait a real day to see the results. It's very exciting. I bought out the store, did some house decorating, and at some point, I found a weird grass orb. I don't know what it does, I'll figure it out tomorrow as well. Funny enough, I played right between when the game considers it early morning and late night, so the visual changes between the hours is kinda drastic and sorta funny.
It sure would be a shame if this little phenomenon had some repercussions later.
Anyways, last thing I did is figure out I can actually dance at the record store. Yeah, get down my dude, bob that head like you're SpongeBob with the loud boots. And, again by pure chance, the day finished with web fishing. I chilled hard today as well. I set up my goal to be getting a purple long sleeve shirt, but I already had the fish I needed for it, so I just kind of enjoyed my time on fish, tried to get for fish. Have you noticed my name is Kate cause like Nate but a cat's okay? How do I go from figuring out I can fly with a broom to being able to make a funny turn and my brain just figures out they are both equally as exciting? Anyways, I got a camouflage hat that lets me pretend to be the water. By the end of the day, I had managed to discover 19 different fish species out of 40. All in all, a pretty good day too. Most of the games really started showing their true self here, with the actual wonder or boredom they include. You can tell which games are flawed here and which aren't, such as Ending, today's elimination. It stands out in the roster for not being too crossy, and the bad design of the bug catching as well as it being the only mechanic. The overall experience ended up feeling mediocre. Coming back each day with nothing changed would be sad, and the lack of a save feature or any customization for anything ended up just leaving me without a single reason to let this one stay. But damn, as we continue with the days, eliminating is bound to get harder. Day 3, at least in the gameplays, I played for 18 minutes and decided to be strict about it. As 18 minutes hit, I quit. I've gotten overexcited in the days prior, but I'm certain I'll get enough time with the games that I do want to play later in the contest. I decided to start Day 3 with a wizard game. As I only played it the night before, I wanted to experience the world in its prime. This opened up even more possibilities because I attended several useful classes. I also tried giving the answer wrong in class and mistakenly picked the right option 3 times. I'm that much of a genius?
God damn it, I did it again.
And then you could use the chat thing to cast spells. Experimented and got nothing except a quick chat with my beloved. So yeah, you can speed right round in this game to become a wizard and try casting spells, none of which I locked into, but maybe we'll do some later. Another cool thing I took was a class on memorizing music. Apparently you can learn a song so you can whistle and play it in an instrument later, and that's a game mechanic? That is bonkers! But defeated by the unsuccessful attempts to cast magic, the time had come to wait for Day 4. Castaway Paradise Day 3 was more of the same, but I got to sell more stuff and do more quests. Not that I progressed much, as apparently the start of the game is incredibly slow, but some bug hunting, some fishing, some gardening, some cleaning, time passed by fast. I'm at a point where watering crops takes egregiously long because it takes 4 inputs for some, and I'm really not excited to do that. And besides, interacting is really finicky and refuses to work sometimes, which just makes this incredibly annoying. I managed to customize my house by placing a cute pirate plushie and then fix the other house, but I still cannot get across the bridge because, and I know I am repeating myself, the game is fucking slow. That is read as written. Hawk Alive Day 3, with printing unlocked, I noticed I didn't have enough wood for the next objective since it used all in the furniture that I needed to place so I can unlock the sprint. This basically meant I had to chop a bunch of trees by mistake. Whoops. But eventually, I did manage to get enough wood to build a house for a cute bonner villager. I also unlocked a shovel and stuff to fix my wood problems, unlocked a store, noticed how janky and hastily put together the game is, went to Moss and back several times for no reason once more, but I finished the day by getting fucking paid for doing nothing. It's like working at Mojang Studios. Florid Forest Day 3 was starting to show some of the issues my pride rejects incessantly. And at this point you can start telling what a disaster my grass is becoming from running on it too much. Anyways, because of the lack of selling mechanics, most of what I did was prepare different projects. The bed place, the big tacky partition divider wall, and the outdoor couch dumpster zone. I am cooking, I am aware. But yeah, didn't do much else. Okay, so remember how on Day 2 of the Hidden Village I saw the day change? Because the game considered that the last time I logged in was on the day I brought the store out. It didn't restock on Day 3. This meant I couldn't fish or really buy anything and only catch bugs. I proceeded to do that and not much else, until I noticed these 2 rocks which seemed suspicious. And I rubbed some balls to get access deeper into the forest. Inside here you can find a puzzle about some flowers, but I really got stuck here and I didn't know how to continue. totally what happened here was not that I divagated on the side of some fucking noise. I wrote my deepest, darkest secret Dihi with paths once I figured out how to customize that, and I went to bed after realizing 7,500 is not the same as 75,000. Giftopia Day 3 saw me doing odd jobs around after a totally not unfortunate incident of accidentally deleting my save file, which didn't remove the tooth penalty fairy from day one, so I started fishing in the fountain. Apparently that's the thing you can do in this game. With that cash, I managed to settle my first debt and regain my face privileges, as well as getting rid of the robot whose dialogue I cannot Google Translate. By the way, in all of my footage, I am recording every single line in English, so I don't have to translate it again while editing, which leads to its little things like this.
You can no longer fish in the motherfucking fountain.
Anyways, me and my fishing buddy now have to seek another fishing spot because fishing in the fountain is weird. But I don't care because the playtime had passed, and that really flew by. I will enthusiastically wait for tomorrow. Q in Ditney Day 3. Whoops, meant didn't say. I helped Goofy get his keys back from a ghost and pull a flawless impression of him. Meanwhile, I also learned that my ballerina trills are actually a dodge roll. One way or another, exploring this ghost dungeon rewarded me with yet another mechanic, where I get to manage a cafe. Personally, not a big fan of these things, but I'll see if they did it better than usual tomorrow, when I get to do the cafe for real. Apparently through the day I changed into an outfit that isn't an ace assemble, which now makes people not actually give me social validation, those assholes. But yeah, didn't have time for more. Considering my DS is out and all, I started to play Puspet for day 3. More pointless dialogue, found this cool pixely room, brought a red hair dye and some snacks, but I guess I can't eat in this world, which was disappointing considering I'm mostly about red hair and snacks. This game is slowly showing that it has a severe absence of Animal Crossing mechanics, and most of the gameplay is just waiting around to see if your pet wants something so you can make it happier. Even talking about it makes me nappy and drowsy. Too bad I'm not going to be rested unless someone pets the shit out of me as I attempted to sleep, because that's how this game thinks the superior sleeping method is. Talking about superior, web fishing in the third day was simple. Yep, I am smitten by this game's idle nature, showing up, casting the lane, falling for the pressures of capitalism even without an economy, and just appreciating the atmosphere. Through this day I got many instances of fish leaving right after I put the fishing rod in the water, which was really annoying, but the game is still pleasant. I managed to catch 26 unique fish by the end of the day. I decided to end the day with oasis, as I was pretty sure this would be the last day. I pushed the game's limit for over 20 minutes by farming ovaries at ludicrous speeds and filling my town with them. This involved getting enough coins to buy orchid seeds and a planter to grow them in. Sadly, the orchids didn't multiply like the ovaries, which meant you can only harvest them through the intended method. Buying a seed each time you need one. The problem is NPCs don't pay quite enough, so the game is very slow and very annoying. Here's 5 seconds of what pairing it was actually like.
Bored. Bored. No, bored. Bored. I'm bored.
Regardless, when the cute thing showed up, I gave it an orchid, confessed my love, and we sailed into the sunset happy forever after, never to come back to Aubrey Town ever again, as no one actually brought a car to the gas station ever. Yeah, the game simply wasn't Animal Crossing. Despite managing a town and everything, the lack of a save feature is downright criminal, and I understand why the developer didn't implement it, but I damn wish the game was closer to Animal Crossing. Having the NPCs around would be super neat. Not only are they cute and appealing, but it would help the game's rhythm. Regardless, I enjoyed the chill experience for a few days that it managed to survive. Here's to day 4 and 20 minutes. Crap, no, I said ovaries instead of ovaries again, no! Day 4 of the Hidden Village. The store actually updated, which let me put music at home to break it down, yeah! I got myself a fishing rod and a computer, and then I started to fish. The fish mechanic, oh, look! There's grass on water! You guys have no idea how validated I feel like this. As I was saying, the game's fish variety seems limited. This might just be the play hours limiting the fish you can find. That's a very likely possibility, but guess I'll learn tomorrow. I got a woohoo fish, which is neat. I spent the whole day farming, visited the fucking newest ones, and the puzzle is still beyond me. Though ideas are forming, for now I find myself 2 goals. One is solving the puzzle in the forest, the other is farming enough to build either the arcade or the cafe, letting me feel accomplished between this version's confines. Color me relatively impressed with this game. Next to roll up on day 4 was Castaway Paradise. Guess what progress I managed? I spent the last 4 minutes watering the same plants due to ridiculous game requirements, destroying my opportunity to explore the remainder of the island because I still need to do several quests and actions take way longer than you'd imagine. Flowers and stuff got planted, but that's not interesting. What I did do was get this builder monkey here into trouble, because basically I sent a pretend hitman after him because the dude actually sent me to get beat by this guy's version of Tom Nook in order to escape his gambling debt, which, by the by, canonically this game has this guy break the legs of clients who don't pay. So if the monkey isn't around tomorrow, you know what happened to him. I happened to him. This bunny has a newfound taste for blood. I have bad news about Boss Bet ES on day 4. Not only did I not do anything except buy a house that was surprisingly affordable, I guess I really missed the times before 2008, but I also recorded all of the footage wrong. Irrelevant because I did so little in 21 minutes, I can actually show you through a brief clip I recorded just now. Clothes for my pet, changed the hair colors, changed rooms, talked to a forest bunny who made me jealous of its bento enjoyment, and all the dialogue is still pointless and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, lol. I will note this did not happen with the other Japanese game. Regardless of that one having more complex and detailed instructions, the dialogue is so much more fun and charming that even translating it feels fun and entertaining. It's like I'm looking forward to entertaining extra dialogue there, whereas here it's just like, you're telling me nothing, stop telling me nothing. How can you tell me nothing while also using a language I don't understand? This is too annoying for me. Coming Disney, how are you doing? Apparently, I'm getting paid big time by selling the Mickey Mouse brand. How am I getting away with this?
Let's end the party. Snuff it out. Snuff out the light of the party. What do you mean I'm rich?
Yeah, all the day was spent getting through the cafe tutorial, which is obviously substandard. So, last day, a guy came in and praised my cafe despite the fact that I didn't customize a lick of it. This day, I unlocked the ability to change the decor, music and food, later getting to throw a party with Mickey Mouse, which netted me an egregious sum of cash. I think I'm starting to understand why Disney buys these souls. Wouldn't it be smarter to teach me about this and then make the guy who praises me and my cafe be Mickey? Even if the dialogue is coded, I believe players would feel like they did something to warrant a positive reaction after, you know, you went through the trouble to actually get something instead of some guy just showing up and like sucking your dick for no reason. I wish. Yeah, not a very busy day, but a day that shows how this game's biggest problem is the hand holding. Guess that's what I get for picking the baby game.
You be in the coconut.
I bought gift pair for day 4 next. I totally started by not putting the frozen mushroom in the fridge again since I had forgotten to do it after mistakenly starting the game over yesterday, but this game day, I was free to actually explore more of the space. I wanted to get this hard, but the fishing friend decided that was too bothersome and locked me the fuck out, that asshole! Either way, seeing more of the island let me find special mushrooms and pineapples. I found this train station locked and noticed my supposed childhood friend lazing around while taking out the cutest flock of goats in the planet. Look at this! He told me to bring this rude tribal hobo a mushroom. He likes them frozen, so I felt super smart because I had already put the frozen mushroom in the fridge, and I did that twice because someone hinted at it in day 1, so, you know. These shrooms were enough to get old man Siggy to start telling me all about his conspiracy theories, such as how the earth is flat, how 9/11 was an inside job, and how your village has indoctrinated its citizens into believing you can only grow up to a coming of age ceremony. He points out how creatures in nature turn into adults without it, and how all it takes is... Never mind, the mayor has interrupted his explanation to scold me for thinking about potentially earning more than 10,000 monies a day. Apparently this island indoctrinates and is socialist. Every day this place gets worse, and I'm pretty sure this is not a mistranslation that will result in me getting slapped further down the line, and I'm pretty sure the special fruits are special fruits and will not be anything embarrassing coming down. No, not at all. He then allowed me to fish in the fountain again, but time has ended, so I guess I'll ignore the fountain as much as I would today tomorrow. Day 4 of Florid Forest, more grass destruction, and more things being placed towards different projects. I ended up making a bar by mistake and... A book table! A book table! For the most part, this is just me complaining about how shallow I made the game, lacking a gameplay loop. Entering the store over and over always gives you new stuff, and you can't really earn any resources besides items. It's a sandbox, and it pains me to know it might perish soon because it just keeps getting more boring. Again, as the developer, I am aware of the hows and why, so maybe I wouldn't mind it so much if I had no memories of the game, but in this position, lasting too long doesn't seem to be in this game's cards. I'd still appreciate if you viewers filled out the beta testing feedback form, so I can make a better test write-up, but that's only if you got a few minutes to spare every day. Day 4 for Hobo Life. I met a real straight agent that actually has the personality of a doorknob, like straight up. I guess everyone in this game does, but this character is particularly egregious. I also learned bug catching, but it's honestly kind of pathetic. Your character swing is very unintuitive, and when you catch something for the first time, the game stops everything to load the bug encyclopedia. It still takes less than crafting one thing in New Horizons, but body is it annoying. And of course, I had to do it because the game needed money to complete the next objective, a new villager's house. I had to replant so many trees, which is not a fast process. Highlighted moment, I caught a painted lady butterfly and started busting out into the song Sweet Painted Lady by Elton John.
Sweet painted lady.
Regardless, I managed to earn enough by doing something I didn't even notice doing and build a new house, to be built later in another day because 20 minutes had passed, so I'm leaving. Day 4 of the magic school time. The principal let me have a key for a door that might take me to mystery time. It proved useless, at least for today. I didn't really get the explanation, but the game has so much stuff, I know I'll figure it out in the remaining 8 days. Talk to Ellis, talk to Frank, both are my husbando and waifu. And lo and behold, I learned today that you can only get a girlfriend with a magic incantation. Being tied to time and places, I don't think we'll get to see it in one of the remaining days, but it's certainly a thing you can do in this game. Newsflash, Ellis is a guy! I also learned my first magic spell, Magic Sky Sleep or Cloud Hammock. But I take my naps when I'm feeling cloudy, what you gonna do about it? Well, it turns out villagers who watch you into this cloud hammock decide to join you. It's really charming, and this game includes many things that are funny and charming, so, you know, I sort of wish Animal Crossing had this level of complexity with the characters, the way they speak to you, or the way they interact with the world. Later, I met Broom Rider Nigel.
Broom Rider Nigel. Are you sure you want to be called that?
As you can tell, I caught onto the innuendo rather quickly. Smooth, I hate figuring out whether someone is into broom riding, wink wink. After struggling to catch fish due to inexperience, I reluctantly had to end the day's play session. I like ending the days playing web fishing until it inevitably has to leave due to lack of content. I reiterate how relaxing it is, so I also figured out I can mess around with the camera further, zooming in and out. This branched out into me finding the dance button, which lets me bust out the moves to Murder in the Dance Floor by Sophie Alex Bex. Remember what I mentioned about fish leaving right after I put my rod in? Turns out that circles just speed up the process, but you can actually just pick a spot and fish will come to you. Today, I delved deeper into the intricacies of this aimless game, resulting in my fish collection growing to a total of 32 out of 40. This progress was achieved by not actively pursuing the fish, instead allowing them to approach me at their own pace. So, today's disqualification is the first non-indie game. That's prosperity, yes. I got increasingly fed up with the boring dialogue that didn't translation and tedious gameplay. Furthermore, it's nowhere near Animal Crossing in any way. No town or house customization, no inventory, no fish or bug catching, no fruits to sweet, no real time clock. Honestly, even Oasis and Animal Crossing GP were more Animal Crossing, and I'd gladly appreciate spending less time juggling the game and my phone so I can translate stuff. This game just never stood a chance, and the fact that some unfinished or buggy games are better, and this is a corruption at myself, really goes to show the magnitudes of disaster this gameplay is. Also, the bed gets dirty so fast you have to wonder if any playtesting was done at all. I'm going to bed, see you in day 5. That's 22 minutes per game today, let's go! I arranged this day so that the time tied indies got unique lighting you all haven't seen before. Means I started with Hoko Live. Guess what I did? I chopped wood. Then I walked. Then I spent some time chopping wood. I do not joke when I say wood in this game is so necessary for every single quest, because replanting trees is such a needlessly long process. This was incredibly boring until the last 3 minutes, when I chopped some wood to make stairs that unlock access to the back part of my town. I found a large pathway with more stuff that needs even more wood, as well as a broken pickaxe. I kid you not, exploring this new area turned out to be more enjoyable than the preceding 19 minutes of deforestation. So, we'll chop more wood tomorrow. At this point, the game's choppiness is starting to stand out.
Crazy, how is this joke less cheap than the game?
I finally finished Disney Magical Worlds intro. Not tutorial, intro. I went into my dreams and awoke unfamiliar emotions. A powerful punch to contrast the high from Disney's blessings yesterday.
I am finally going to give him my soul.
I don't want to have a magical dream anymore. Stop.
The code rewards me for my sacrifice by showing me something downright erotic. The rest of the achievements. This game is still incredibly handholdy, but the prospect of actually long-term goals by the game is such a positive. This gives me life. Anyways, eventually, I met the most popular husbando in the world recreating the plot to Mario Sunshine by slapping graffiti all over the beach. That's Stitch from Lilo as Stitch. I don't know what girls have with this guy. But now I'm mostly just wondering why Stitch is in a bunch of Kingdom Hearts games, but Lilo isn't. I'd be very sad if Kingdom Hearts 4 had Hawaii, but Lilo is just missing in this franchise. After playing 5 minutes of Gift Via in the dark, I restarted the day and re-recorded this glorious scene with Mappo, who doesn't want me to visit Siggy's Mojo Dojo Casa house. It's basically football. And the reward is taking some ayahuasca mushroom stew. Pokemon absolutely trips and dreams about being in a girl's room to steal her, how do you say? Her dreams? The game basically teaches you that you can become an adult by helping people. You make an offering at the shrine, and this lets you have a Magatama that you can use to trap people's dreams and help them achieve it. It's actually pretty cute. On the way to that, I ate even more shrooms that inverted my controls. It seems that just eating random shrooms off the ground might not be the best idea. To make a long story short, I am developing an addiction for psychedelic fungi while preaching about helping others and peace and stuff. Surely, a religion won't birth from this. Before anyone asks, the Tooth Fairy is not a hallucination from eating stuff. I swear it's real. People who play this game are having a laugh though, I bet. Castaway Paradise was more of the psych. No! I successfully progressed past the bridge for half the playtime! The other 10 minutes were spent watering 12 plants. Each needing 3 to 5 waterings, aka some time, enough for me to wonder if this was a mistake. I fed a new pirate friend I met something weird that almost killed him, and best case scenario, he's gonna be in the toilet all day. Toilet ridden, you might say. But I guess I'll summarize this day with, I will commit Sudoku if this watering kind ain't upgraded first thing tomorrow. On to the indies! For Hidden Village, the puzzle is my one and only. Noticing a new message and placing flowers, 5 blue flowers horizontally, 6 red flowers together, and 4 purples vertically, with the music actually changing with each flower, but no result. I decided to leave, hoping it unlocks something tomorrow. The afternoon and sunset vibes were actually glorious, worth waiting till now to play. I think the only lacking aspect about this game compared to other AC clones is the music. It's mostly introspective piano ballads that don't convey mood too well or too much. Waste of a day here in the game. The peak was when I dropped the dead fish inside a flower store because I'm super mindful of small businesses. Next was Me, Myself and I, Forest Edition. I finalized most decorations I had around. The outdoor living room, the sleepy area, the tacky partition wall, that's all made and done with. I like the usage of color lights in lamps. Pink lamps have this slight pink to them and red ones have a slight red. It really brings a lot of visual personality from such a small detail. Anyways, I chopped some trees to show you that the bug furniture in the middle of the town exists, in addition to proof that you can actually chop wood, because it's a feature in the game and I wanted to show it off. But yeah, I had nothing to do, so nothing was done. This contrasted neatly with Magician's Quest. Once again, I lacked enough time to do what I desired. I sold some mushrooms and helped an old lady in the way, but I didn't attend any classes or found any significant events. I mean, there's like this vague memory of a peculiar house with like a ghostly tune within. My memories are somewhat fuzzy, so I went behind town, entered a cave and caught my first box inside, right? That's pretty cool, but I don't remember what happened after. What did they do to me? What did they do to me? I donated the box at the museum, henceforth to be called the Tower. But then I lost myself in the sky. Like, I want to crack a joke, but sometimes it's cool to just live in the moment and enjoy the small little things in life. Oh my god, it's Frank! Hi! As for web fishing, everything went as anticipated. Fucked around, caught some fish, bought the MILF merch, I chilled and enjoyed the atmosphere. With only 3 new catches, but I'm having a blast. Alright, we've reached a point where every game in the lineup has something for the next day. However, there's one last game I need to weed out to ensure that all the remaining ones are at least a little enjoyable. I'm sorry, Florid Forest. Playing it like this really made me see some problems with the game design that I should and could probably fix relatively quickly, like maybe a few 12 hours. I should do that before presenting my thesis for titulation. Yes, customizing the town and seeing it change is joyful, even with the bugs, but some things just don't work as they should, or my knowledge exceeds my patience. I particularly play these clones to see how mine compares, and I remain proud. Many mechanics like hourly music and town customization are welcome and relatively well implemented. The world generation, however, is probably the part I'm most proud of, because not even the AAAs here do something at this magnitude with it. But, and I say this with all the love in my heart, get the fuck out until you're at least a little fun as a game.
Rest, my sweet prince. Just go to sleep, okay? It's going to be alright. It's going to be alright, I swear. Tomorrow you'll wake up to a beautiful world and everything will be wonderful, okay?
With that, here's to more fun times in day 6. We're halfway through, people! Yeah, see, I'm that guy who records in multiple days and gets every single day with a different audio setting. It's incredible. I double checked if I can enter the mysterious time, but Heisenberg is the one who knocks from beyond, blocking my entry. No classes or progress to report, but counterpoint, Ramen with Frank. That's right, we went out on a date and had a great time. We hung out, played games, give it a minute, we'll be a power couple. Okay guys, so I researched and the game is too old to have Sim 6 dating, and it really sucks because the girls just have completely uninspired designs, bar like 3 exceptions, so I'm sort of disappointed about this. The reason I staggered is evident from looking at the footage. So take a short break from whatever you're doing if you aren't looking. Yeah, I spent half the day customizing my uniform to be duotone, but be caught dead not using contrasting colors in all my aesthetics. Too bad I was too broke to afford the hairstyle later that goes along with it, but Next I played the Disney, and I managed to get a great tour of Hawaii with Lilo, who showed me something incredible. Apparently, and this is not something most people know, but Hawaii has like a beach, and like, get this, the sea? That's nuts! Anyways, I caught some waves and committed violations of the Geneva Conventions with the Ghost in the Forest. I think the game is starting to show something signaling a massive deal breaker. At least this dungeon layout feels more dynamic than the last. After getting some more lore about Lilo and Stitch stitching 2 little kids to go— oh my god, that is terrifying. They even have the hyper-realistic eyes with blood and everything. But let's not pay too much mind. I went to the chipmunks and created furniture out the wazoo. That is all. So sub-validation is back on the table, by the way, due to an automatic style change, so yay. And looky here, I saved the game like 7 times because there is no confirmation that the game has saved, so at this point it's just turning into a recurrent bit and I wanted to show it to you. The hidden village involved messing with the flowers, as nothing came of yesterday's mess, albeit the puzzle seems to be busted in some way, which is a way. I can tell this because the music changes when different things that shouldn't be happen, but I'm amazed it took this long to find a substantial bug in the game. Grinded some and eventually tried out putting stuff in town, such as a street lamp that was cheap enough for me to justify. Ta-da! I wonder if we'll see it tomorrow. In the spirit of experimenting, axes are satisfying weapons. Against trees, dude. It drops logs, but I don't know what their use is. If I did want it to hurt someone, I will not use an axe. I will use this meat saw that I have, which is my weapon of choice in case you're like not familiar with the channel lore. Regardless, I happened to buy a copy of Totally Not Starships by Totally Not Nicki Minaj. If you have subtitles on, that typo is intentional. Summon thy Castaway Paradise. As advertised, the first thing I did was try desperately to find a watering can upgrade, and there it is, right in my face. I just missed it very obviously. I also noticed there's a feather duster I could use to clean my house of spiderwebs, but I decided to pace myself. Go slow. This made gardening so much faster. As the apparently crowning method of increasing my reaches, I triple appreciated it. I also upgraded the pickaxe for faster mining. I guess today was the fuck up nature day because I chopped trees and mined rocks in 3 of the 7 games. I guess nature got its revenge by killing me in one of those games, but give me a second. The last of these 3 games where I destroyed nature was Hulk Alive, where I stop with the wood, only to find these shrines are just fancy unnecessary teleports. Like, I get using them to reach the mines and the town, but nothing else. Furniture and bridges were crafted with the bodies of innocent conifers. One of the NPCs made me an island representative, another one wants to charge me for a license to make basic materials like ingots and paint. The bridge instead was used to find the most polluted lake, which I should probably clean, and I would have if I wasn't distracted by 2 things. The first one is fixing the broken pickaxe that allowed rock mining. The second is exactly 22 minutes and 44 seconds into the PlayStation, I fell asleep. The game is rather repetitive, but it isn't solely to blame. What happened here is I caffeine crashed as I woke up early that day to stream the Nintendo partner presentation. A stream I promptly purged from the channel because it was genuinely awful. Still, doesn't help that the game wasn't very fun to keep me awake. I wish the music wasn't so flat and boring. Imagine Animal Crossing didn't have the 5 PM bobs and instead just put lame piano compositions. That would suck. Alright, let me tell you about the Gift Pia tragedy. You know how I ate some bad shrooms yesterday and tripped? I guess I had the goal to eat something even worse today. You see, if you remember, to get the dream holders, you must donate tons of food at the shrine. So after convincing Dogger to return this kid's ball, he went off to play it against the shop's window, and of course his mother scolded him. Anyways, this resulted in his 2 parents, who are not really dating, I think. The point is they started arguing, and the mart is temporarily out of commission because of this. Naturally, I wanted to hold the wish of these 2 and fix it later, so I went to get a Magatama after that exploration. I met Epron the Widow, tried exercising with some guy who promptly kicked me out, and faced a fan directly towards an older woman that predicted I would miss my bar mitzvah and didn't say anything about it. Here's when I found the banana. I created to the shrine while rocking out to banger music, and I wanted to see what happened for yourself here.
Oh no! No fucking way I just died from eating a banana. No fucking way, I just died from eating a banana.
Okay, I had to chow that up because my death was accompanied by the fanfare of my dad asking if anyone had fed the cat despite the fact that he left 4 meals in her bowl for breakfast. This meant the rest of the day was just repeating all that. I managed not to miss input the next time I donated food, and now I've learned that these rainbow colored fruits aren't special fruits, they're just rotting.
Oh, these are not special fruits, they're spoiling.
I'm glad this mishap happened instead of the more embarrassing situation later where I would purposely eat them thinking they were special and would heal me big time and then I just die and it would be very sad and funny, but whatever. The point is, the wishes are received and pending. Before finishing the day, I watched the best episode of Lost. As for web fishing, I caught nothing new. And you'd think I drop web fishing next because it's getting boring and I've run out of game, but it's now my nightly ritual and I enjoy chilling to it. The elimination is imminent, but for today, Disney Magical World is the one who dies. This is not an Animal Crossing clone the more you play it. Living in the town is actually one of the smallest mechanical elements. It's more than clear that the most efficient way to play is by dungeon crawling, and the most efficient way to earn is from the cafe and other quests. Selling fish or ingredients is a complete waste. This doesn't mean that it isn't the first game that I'm removing while contemplating the prospect of what tomorrow may bring. There are activities to do, worlds to explore, and places to be. It's childish and cheesy, said the guy who is childish and cheesy, yet amusing. I'd be willing to actually continue playing outside of the experiment, and I'd sink 50 hours into it easily, but for an Animal Crossing, it just ends up being the weakest link. 30 minutes for a play session starts getting pretty long, and if you can't manage to entertain me for that, you may have to go. 6 games remain, and the sun is racing for day 7. Give it like 40 minutes, it's doing it, it's the sun, come on, it's not that fast. The day began with the good old Hill and Village again. I already gave up on the puzzle this time. This meant I literally spent that day just messing around or grinding, and I finally decided to talk to the NPCs, which they have some strange dialogue. They talk to Juvenile and use swears weirdly, like there's this one character who just calls herself a whore for no apparent reason, or this kid. Dialogue is not his strong suit. I did burn some trees to recover the chopped ones yesterday, but the fact they turned the island into Swiss cheese really adds my boredom. It turns out the fish selection really is just 3 fish in total, which makes fishing really boring and not fun for grinding. The game did not benefit from the 30-minute play sessions. Interest up and left like the neglectful parent it is. On the complete opposite, yet still adjacent side of the coin, Magician's Quest was normal to— Whoa! Well, it seems I've entered Mystery Time by mistake. A time that isn't morning or night, only vibes. And sure enough, Nigel accompanied me throughout. Because of Mystery Time, attending classes was out, with the special insects and fish being the focus of my day. Finally, a fish was caught after learning the mechanic. It's a little more involved than you'd expect out of Animal Crossing, but it's still relatively simple. Remember this island? Well, this precious male cat brought me an invitation for the island on Sunday, which would be on day 10. Be assured, I'll forget about this completely. Inviting Nigel backfired, as that disallowed me from organizing my inventory to make space, resulting in a monumental time loss. My inventory is just a mess. He eventually left while I changed the fish for sellable goods at the tower, and I completely missed the principal standing over this amount of books. I hope he had no important dialogue. Instead, I checked the school's garage sale, which is held during Mystery Time and works as a swapping system, but I have no furniture, so it's currently a little useless to me. Here's when I started this note about a secret store, a message that it was from yesterday. Guess who spent the final 3 minutes scavenging the mansion pointlessly. I fear the mystery might remain unraveled because of this, so I'm hoping Mystery Time continues tomorrow or something happens that allows me to continue the mystery.
Okay, hold on, I'm pissed. I'm ripping some textures for some assets, and look at this character. Who is she? Why is she perfect? Who is this character and why is she not in my game? Why do I get this guy? Don't get me wrong, I like you, but you could be her. You could be this other character back here. Look at her. I mean, you're not a school, but still.
Newsflash, this character is called Stuart, and it's a dude! Why won't this game let me gay? If I ever play one of these game sequels, I'm making myself a girl. You wanna know what I did in Oko Life? That's right, I chopped wood! I also mined rocks with my repaired pickaxe. So, just like with Magician's Quest, inventory issues arose. I boldly decided to try stealing furniture from the guest house I slept in briefly during day 1, and lo and behold, I was allowed. So I plopped this little drawer in the middle of the town and left all my junk inside. This is when something unprecedented happened. I got asked for a quest that requested steel, the only material I didn't get from mining earlier in the day. Eventually, I can't progress on the cave because it's too dark for my character to see if they enter further in, so I need to make a lamp before this. Shenanigans ensued! Some house decoration, some cleaning the lake that happened by coincidence because it was in the way, and buying the glue I need to craft the lantern. Doing this ended the day, so I left because the game was sorta boring. It's horrible design to have players do the same one task for the first 2 hours of gameplays, in this case chopping wood. Everything requires one same resource, absolutely no variety once included. More to it, when I do get something different, there's just a jump to a resource that skips multiple materials you have to get in the middle. Wouldn't it make more sense for the game to ask for something like stone or coal first, the most common stone resources you can get? The paradise is still more bark than bite. First off, I confirmed that your system's time does not affect the lighting. Behold how I'm playing during 10 PM, though it wasn't really 10 PM, I just changed my system's time. As it turns out, I had the night filter on, when it looked sort of orangey in the afternoon, so... I updated my watering can and that made farming so much more fun.
Bigger nozzle, better person.
I think the game got a lot more of a chance because of these upgrades to my weapons and tools. Another thing that continue giving this game more of an edge is that the dialogue is kinda funny. It might not be as endearing as Gift Piao's or Magician's Quest, but I definitely laugh at some of the game's skillful explanation of the mayor's plain flying competence. Most of the day was spent cleaning though, fixing some of these tree stumps with new trees and feather dusting the webs at home. Nothing more notable, my commentary is mostly all singing horribly and I got myself some purple clothes to rid myself of the castaway appearance. Gift Pia actually didn't involve any problems this time, which is weird. I've had recording and playing problems since day one, but as I figured it out, this got less common. The banana death, the mistaken restart, the forgetting to set up recording for a third of day 3, that's 2 of 7 days that went off fine. So I fixed this couple's relationship issues by calling the police and getting one of them arrested for a minor offense against an officer. Even got a standing ovation after!
What is this music?
All the talk about the grandma cued me in. I had to visit her so she might foretell of a massive earthquake. My theory is that the earthquake is only the first part of a volcanic eruption. This made grandma panic. I think she blamed black people for some reason. Regardless, I set out to help. Grandma Valle decided to need some emergency beanies for her entire family. I'm not sure what they do, but they like them. Her daughter Rumiko runs the store. She and Met seem to be raising Chibita, the kid we helped yesterday, but again, the relationship between Rumiko and Met is a little strange and I don't quite get it. With the wish fulfilled and the grandma grumbling at me because she completely forgot what she was freaking out about, I took my fulfilled wishes to the fairy, who finally confirmed, and this is imperative information, the totem/2/death fairy is actually called the Sleep Fairy. It finally has a name! Not that that means anything, you're still on Gaga Gaga forever in my heart. Totally not an edited graphic. Now, I can stay up later because I'm older and the fairy is more permissive about my sleep time, so hooray! The end! Web fishing returned to nothing of importance. For the first 17 minutes, that is, short of the day's gameplay session ending, I reeled in not 1, not 2, but 3 newcomer fish, including the shark that got me an eye patch I wanted to day 1. Despite missing 5 of the 40 fish in total, I think web fishing had a delightful farewell. Thanks for making it, Lamedeb. I said it half jokingly early, but I genuinely would love getting my hands on the game's files to build it up for my streams, like personally. If you're open to it, I'd really appreciate if you reached out to me. Now, I did just shoot you down, but this is just cool stylization, and I could not be bothered to make a new animation. Okay, fine, we're switching to Nerf darts. For as enjoyable as the game was, this is only one implementation of an Animal Crossing feature. While the grass and character models feel representative, it still is just a single feature, insufficient to truly feel that Animal Crossing shaped hole in my heart. Nevertheless, it only provided momentary contentment. The time simply came for the rest of the games to try filling that void much better. Day 8! Wow, that's 36 minutes of gameplay, which means the meta is becoming trying to bore me as little as possible, and the more boring you are, the more likely it is that you will be the next on the chopping block. So, the most entertaining is definitely Gift Pia. Being able to stay up longer allowed better peeping at people's private lives, such as this DJ who plays the absolute banger music and works home between shifts. She's neat, and here's her workplace. You also found this lighthouse with a rusted entrance and even more stuff higher up in the mountain. Everyone is going on about this diner, so naturally I sell out. This is what I wrote while distracted, and I do not know what I mean since I've never gotten a sponsor. Oh, of course, I think I was saying I naturally set out to kidnap frogs for a higher paying employer. So, I suppose setting out was done to the Frog Extermination Committee. Doesn't this mean I gotta kill Frank now? No, this sucks! Just kidding. The 80s guy collects frogs to make them race at his business that is factually only open to people older than 100 years old. I did spend half the day stuffing frogs into my pockets, but the 50,000 monies I got for it certainly will get me new pants. The remaining time was exploring and not getting distracted dancing to a song on the radio. Honestly, an unproductive 36 minutes, but they were fun. By the way, whenever I wake up, I got used to timing the game's height, so
Hi!
Second most entertaining was Magician's Quest. First off, magic time is dead and I cannot enter back. I seem to have missed the mystery, but this week's is more evident because it might be related to, I don't know, the giant snowman in front of the school? The real question is whether I will be able to see it in action before the game gets eliminated. I get a wee tiny bit bored because classes only update on Sundays, which means the only way I can learn any new spells is by locking into them. Attempts were fruitlessly made, a lot. Jessica seems sick, but I couldn't help. I got a haircut, too much pink and lacking ammo energy, but it's pretty close to reality. On reality? I'm a 2D drawing. How do I count as reality much? I don't know. I gave Grandma some laughing gyms, which I hope you believe is a mushroom I got in day 7 and not like a guy called Jim who heard something hilarious. Finally, I stood up the principal of the auditorium. Lol. I'm so going to get expelled. Nigel invited me over and presented his bed. You'd be surprised to see the third less boring was Castaway Paradise. I planted a crop that required constant watering, and I noticed I could have used upgrades to speedrun the game. This was a day-long process, but here's the theory. Selling pine cones in the game is actually egregiously profitable. We're talking 1,250 gems per pine cone. The pine cones grow in 60 minutes, but what if I told you the weight can be made irrelevant? When I upgraded my house for 15,000 gems, I got reminded of how powerful it is to level up, because the game instantly takes any crop that's going on a cooldown, basically removing the cooldown. At first, I thought I'd plant a bunch of slowly growing veggies and use the tick to my advantage. Evidently, this didn't work because I lacked the knowledge that broccoli grows between 20 minutes in 4 stages, each one lasting 5 minutes or so. Those 20 minutes were spent fixing the broken fences using the wrong type of fence, but let's pretend otherwise. So, the plan failed for the rest of the day, but I did get the initial tick that gave me the idea, which meant I got to sell all the pine cones again and get massive profits. I directly utilized those profits to unlock another part of the island. The fast ticks and gross profits may be the ticket to progress in this game as quickly as possible. The idea is set, but now I wonder if I'll have time and a chance to pull it off. Now, playing Hidden Land The Lost Village was not as fun anymore nearly. I knew I couldn't grind 25,000 coins for the store when the only option is fishing for one specific type of fish. It's too boring and I'm already caffeine crushing to the entire experience. This prompted a mad dash across the entire island, making holes everywhere. And this looked like the rambling of an insane person, but it's actually the opposite, because amidst my desperation, this happened.
How? What? The arcade shouldn't be real. Shouldn't exist.
That's right. Bless you. For some unknown reason, there's an entryway to the arcade next to the player's house. Entering buildings in this game is done by standing in front of the doorway and pressing X. So if you are spamming X across town like a headless chicken while digging holes with the shovel, you are liable to lock upon the arcade. This changed the remaining 20 minutes of the play session, because my whole making device had just become something far more powerful. A dowsing rod. By using the holes in the floor, I could figure out which areas I had not tested for a misplaced entrance. What ensued was a long search for another secret endings. In the way, I entered this house with a MILF. This game's dialogue is really something special. She offered me chocolate and niceness until she found a cockroach and turned into the vilest person in the planet, just randomly. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the cafe or puzzle solutions in the remaining time, even though dowsing was done all across town. Now the question is, will it have a chance to continue tomorrow, or is this too boring? Cause if you're keeping track, there's one game I haven't talked about, which is Hawk Alive, and it is incredibly boring, and it gets worse by the second. I genuinely wondered if something was wrong with my game when I looked into funny glitches to try. Like, I actually had to look up how to make Hawk Alive less boring, only to find the game's beta villages looked various degrees better. Like, the game got stripped of its personality to look more like Animal Crossing. On that note, the light I crafted yesterday doesn't work, and because I've been using the teleport I unlocked, I missed a progression scene that you access by walking out of the mines to unlock another lime type, which is just a different type of lamp, by the way. It is not there, both are lamps. The lamps that do work are easily exploitable, as you can just move one around as you walk around, so you don't need to make more than one. This meant I got steel and managed to find yet another extremely slow mechanic that, while a fantastic idea and concept, the execution might as well put you onto arcs to shame. You can design your own furniture. This mentally translated to me as make potentially deadly hazards, so that's what I did. I think this is really boring because the design and decoration interfaces are extremely clunky and slow. Up with this dust bunnies moving faster. Like, I can feel myself transforming into a snail as I play. I leave trails of slime, my back is hurt. Oh, hold on. I think that's just me drooling as I sleep uncomfortably because the game put me to bed with its bullshit. I ended up losing 3 minutes of the day as the game was saving one of the furnitures, and I was kinda glad about it. God, just writing about it is boring, sorry. I resorted to history jokes, like, that's a new rock bottom for the channel. So today's elimination comes down to whether I care more about boring myself or boring you. Hololive and Hidden Village both feel inactive, but when it comes to discussing them, Hidden Village is more entertaining. This is in spite of Hololive holding more content to fuck around with. No matter, at this point, it's clear they'll both be the next two eliminations, so which goes first? Hidden Village, you have given your best. For an indie project, getting this far is admittedly commendable, and more to it, it's clear that many of the game's design issues are rooting on me using an earlier version. I think this game would have had a respectable chance if the 3.0 version worked on my computer, but the developer doesn't seem to have plans on fixing it, and I understand. The minute you approach New Horizons territory, bugs begin to accumulate, and I expect this version I played has a lot less bugs than whatever 3.0 is as a result. Even so, this is the kind of game that I would sink hours into given some variety and seasons were added. More fish, pets, options, and as someone who's made an indie game about Animal Crossing, I can perfectly understand why the developer may be reluctant to continue this. The core systems are there, but proximity to greatness isn't equal to greatness. So this means I just do myself to 45 minutes of Hololive. I want to die. So let's nip it in the bud. I mined, I chopped, I designed, and somehow nothing interesting happened. Like, yes, I learned how to fish and reel stuff in. I made an improved pickaxe and obtained additional tools for furniture customization. But I did just spend 30 minutes learning an individual tool one tutorial could have swiftly introduced. Instead, you receive a tutorial for being able to customize furniture, one for being able to add pieces to furniture, one to teaching you to remove those pieces to furniture, one for learning other materials are also functional as things you can put in furniture, and yet another to teach you how to color things. It really makes you ponder why they consider such a system, made worse by the cursor's impressive speed, and of course all throughout this you have to keep getting wood for more furniture. Moving the lantern to explore the cave is just smarter than making more. I refuse to believe no better taster tried this, and at this point, just let players carry a torch. It's more efficient, players are gonna keep trying to be efficient, so just let players be efficient and don't make it harder for them as a way to try and pacing your game. Which, mind you, that system doesn't even work, and I don't know what the developers were thinking, but it doesn't fucking work. The fact that 3 hours and a half in minimum isn't enough to allow access to the game's basics is completely ridiculous, and you think, oh well, it takes a week to start New Horizons. Fair, but New Horizons actively teaches you, hey, it's okay to wait. The game is chill, you're not supposed to rush it. You're supposed to take your time and play it throughout a whole last year. That's the kind of game Animal Crossing is. By removing timely features, all you're doing is telling players, hey, do more, do faster, do more, do faster. And this makes the game incredibly tedious to play. Hololive is about to lose the later half of its name in the ranking. Hololifent. Remember what I said about using the level ups in Castaway's Paradise? Well, I tried updating a house and it gave me 1 experience. That's right, 1 experience point. This meant I harvested the pine cones while planting some extra, you know, the ones that had changed from yesterday. I leveled up the natural increase I got yesterday, and I harvested again, and then found myself at a dead end without getting enough experience to force a tick. The first house upgrade is insanely good, but everything else is relatively limited. Either way, selling 40 pine cones let me unlock the rest of the island that I hadn't unlocked. I encountered 2 mishaps. Number 1 is that Victoria decided I wasn't allowed to stop talking to her. She wanted me only for herself. I basically soft-locked from talking to her in a way that pushed me slightly out of the game's way to check if you're talking to someone, so I guess Victoria just wants me for herself. I'm that sexy. I'm not into Victoria like that, but second visitor was a spider from reality that distracted me far too much, so I had to stop playing.
No.
está en uno de los océanos.
Ah, ya vi. Pero ya se escapó por... Eres una imbécil. Ah, mira, mira, mira. La aplastaré con la computadora entera.
As you can see, I don't like spiders. Also, I leveled up while this transpired, but I didn't see that. So I harvested once again. Even if my plan didn't work out in its entirety, having 45 minutes plus getting the gist of making large profits let me progress considerably, unlocking and cleaning a lot. Also, you know, I sort of have to thank the spider because the spider did help me progress more because it gave me more time for things to happen. I also played Pirate by burying and unburying a barrel. Meanwhile, I entered some strange state of delirium, but this is unrelated.
I'm a pirate. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Magician's Quest didn't offer much, though a new set of classes refreshed for tomorrow, almost guaranteeing this game a spot in the final. I played with Janet, but she was too scared to enter the secret mansion, which actually had a secret shop today. I brought the shiniest, most sparky thing I could find because I am just infantile. As usual, next ensued about 10 minutes of me trying to guess spells unsuccessfully, and 20 of fishing. Though this time I was actually good enough to get a Coeliacant. Now if you're familiar with Animal Crossing, you think this is like a really rare find, but it is not really that rare because most of the rare finds in this game happen during mystery time. So I'd just say I got something particularly uncommon. Even if not as much was done today, the sight of a snowy day and the times during which I played let me see darkness fall across the town in a stunning and magical way. Haven't really discussed aesthetics for this video, but you can tell they are important to me by how I constantly bring up stuff regarding colors and lighting. I love clever color usage, and this game's natural yet slightly tinted snow looks unique while retaining the naturalness. Plus, the minerals topping the tower and other colorful rocks look fantastic over a great background, something which I've already mentioned in the past when I got lost in the sky. Guys, I don't know where I am. Help me find my way back, please. I started Giftpia by wandering up the mountain and having to make my way back in fear soon after. I found a second shopkeep and information about digging in some holes for potential rewards, though I don't have enough stamina to actually go up this entire mountain, so, you know, I had to flee. The second in-game day blasted another banger while I collected a dream gem, which I plan on using to discover how to help Apron, the old widow who likes serving people dinner. Tragically, having no husband disrupts her ability to operate her establishment, something which took an extra day to figure out as the gem only reacts while she is sad after opening hours. So in in-game day 4, the song started playing. Meow! Oh wait, that's me chatting with my cat. It happened soon after.
Let's have dinner at Apron's Diner soon. Come, won the endless war.
I love this song, so naturally I searched the author and song online after the play session, because the game actually tells you the info every morning. But as soon as I searched for this game's soundtrack, I noticed so many of the artists are difficult to find because whoever made this game's soundtrack outright picked 20 random songs from incredibly indie bands and just put them in the game. What I shoot was 3 hours of wasted time with me frantically searching them on the internet. Last.fm listed one of their songs, but their unavailability on YouTube and other popular websites made it a journey to find, until eventually their official website led me to their SoundCloud profile. And they're fine. I love their mind-bending sound reminiscent of Electric Light Orchestra and a little bit of the Beatles kind of Queen. Unfortunately, they only put out 4 tracks in here, 2 of which aren't as good, though I do like their song Mrs. Green. Anyway, after that, and I mentioned that midway through the search I watched Blue Eye Samurai Episode 5, which is short on a masterpiece, I tried finding someone who wanted to help Apron with waitressing. And by trying, I mean I immediately found her heading home. She mentioned she wanted to be an actress but lacked money for it a lot earlier, so I immediately offered her trying out for the position, something which really pissed off Kiapi later. This actress wannabe has no picture for her curriculum, so she's crying in her room, and I did go in to take a pic, mostly at her clothes but also at her sadness. She requested I would take the picture, which was so good, her next photo shoot might include nudes. She said it as a joke, but whatever. She immediately got the job, and 2 more dreams were accomplished before I went home to sleep. Hi! Do a bit of a rant there, eh, Nate? I think you can tell which game I'm enjoying far too much. In a moment, I'll have a day with a whole hour per the remaining 3 games, but first, what I said about Hoko Life. The game sucks. While it is more alike to Animal Crossing than several other pigs, I'd rather suffer through the Twilight Trilogy than play this in the long run. It's sluggish, irritating, thrown together, and the design is dreadful. Part of why it made it thus far was on account of the slowness keeping me occupied with uninteresting and boring tasks, which I endured just to glimpse at how much of a train wreck this game truly was. Like, an active objective of mine was seeing how much garbage this game had in it. The art style change from the original look to a more washed out approach was awful in its attempts to mimic New Horizons. It didn't realize this rice paper wrapped appearance is unimpressive and visually deficient. Having all of these areas exclusively to collect resources sort of clued in the developers into how slow their design was. They had to include a method to grind that wasn't as disruptive, when the very thing they already take so many elements from solves it already. It should be the standard mechanic. Trees should recover their durability each day. Instead, they built a whole map with different areas, all because bothering with town generation that includes ponds or other entrances was too much work. Hey, Animal Crossing Game Boy, made by some guy alone in an engine intended to replicate a system from 1989, did more for its town generation than you. And that is why you do not get the Nerf gun, buddy. Oof, that felt good! What day is it now? I forgot. With an hour per game, what didn't get done in Castaway Paradise? I beat it up early in the morning and set myself to beat it by min-maxing myself into ridiculous profits. Doing the math, I ended up getting 57,000 gems in about 6 minutes by end of day. You see, to collect stuff, 3 inputs are necessary. You shake the tree, water it so another harvest grows later, and pick up whatever the tree dropped. A 4th extra input turned towards facing the fallen fruit's hitbox is likely. That is, unless the crop jumps into an object, resulting in automatic collection. It took a minute, but I min-maxed my island this way. Animal Crossing min-maxing has always been oddly satisfying and fun to me, if slightly petty of course. Now, this is not alike to Animal Crossing, so the feeling is slightly different, but I still dug it. In the area up across the river, a better crop was found and surely min-maxed as well. With a well-placed level up, the game disappeared like butter, melting in front of me. Paths got cleared and updated, rocks broken, trees restored. I basically wound up the initial stage of the game before you can get to customize the space in 4 hours. This is both awful and awesome because I'm so good and accomplished, but concurrently, this leaves the game with little for me to do. Magic School proved itself neat as I managed to learn the various topics during the recently updated classes. I learned a spell and an incantation. The spell lets me make people fart. Woohoo! Magic trick toilet! I cast it on you. Your next fart is because of me. Second, the incantation lets me summon a toilet body. I thought it was going to be like my doppelganger, so naturally I didn't try to use the female version of the incantation. That would be like so weird, right? Right? Instead, this kid came out and told me I should write Room with Nigel, so that's what we did. Whee! You fool! I didn't mess up Magic Time all along! Because this guy's silhouette showed up at the start of last Magic Time, and now the snowman has become a real creature that is basically the same silhouette. This is the default functionality, by the way. Mystery time happens, and then you start the mystery. In this case, it was the snowman because it's winter and stuff, but regularly you do not solve the mystery during Magic Time. It's very unintuitive, but apparently that's how it works. Nice for me to have learned. Anyways, the snowman sent me to collect ingredients for his family reunion, which really contrasts with all the comments about the big white menacing thing towering over people at nights. The ingredients were pretty effortless to get: a snowflake, a blow-it mushroom, and I know I made many sex jokes in this video, but trust me, this is actually called a blow-it mushroom, and a mythical fish I had to get in record time. I guess I'm a helpful dude. On to more things I thought I screwed up but didn't. I did not stand the principal. The school evaluation happened when I passed by the auditorium on a whim, and I got my rank increase. I also talked to the demon lord who told me he was redeemed and needed me to collect his pieces. My lab reaction says it all.
Bullshit, buddy.
I told you now, I would be the Draco Malfoy of this world if he had been honest, you know? Be like, hey, I'm gonna take over the world and I'm so in. Now instead I'm just like a reluctant henchman for him and I'm not sure I'll do his quest, cause screw him. Though it seems like much was done, a feeling of non-fulfillment remained today. Time for Gifpia! I was worried about starting it late at night because translating the text is a bit off-putting and I'm lazy, but once you get into it, a joy it is. So the mayor is in deep shit because the island is moneyless, and this scientist doesn't have enough funds to continue researching the disaster striking the island, including an earthquake and the typhoon at the start. The scientist distracts this guy at the lake, so now I can pass, and on the way, I decided to help him because since the typhoon drove the fish away, the dude is basically starving. Jam collecting montage! He wants dinner from the dinner lady we helped yesterday. Here's something peculiar. For some reason, this game has sound effects from Zelda and Mario Sunshine.
Yes. No.
I also discovered you can dream in this game. Your mother's too, just in case. After this, the fabled earthquake the grandma predicted happens, driving everyone to a panic. My favorite moment was when the scientist shuts Mapple the fuck up.
Danger, danger. Advance no further. Shut the fuck up, you piece of crap, Aaron. You're talking big and if you're speaking uppercase only. That's not like that. You're pathetic, get lost.
I hate him, so this made me happy. Anyway, the dog requires help, so gem collecting montage! He's asking me to dig him a bone amidst the landslide, which you need to feel your way through. That's the kind of like quirky mechanic 2000s games will do all the time, and only indie games they incorporate this stuff. Unrelated, but behold the egg I found. Moving on, this fulfills the favorite's request, granting me the ability to stay up until 11. Ironic since I'm writing this at 3:52 AM, as the responsible adult I am. Anyways, the mayor summons me to the municipal library, where I get arrested by Mappo because I walk too fast. So here's the problem, emulators do not let you walk slowly, which is problematic. I have been returned to my original state, making all of my progress so far worthless, and the worst part is, I don't even know where to pay the fine to return back to normal, so this mechanic is completely stupid, it feels awful, this is a massive journal. My real concern is whether or not this portion can even be done through emulator, even if I fix the fine tomorrow. But the results are in, and it's a very pleasant farewell to Castaway Paradise. As I said, not Animal Crossing. They share elements, but the game type and nature yada yada, not what I'm looking for. As a matter of time, I nearly finished it today, with only the development part of the game left. Continuing this isn't really in order, and not because the game was bad, on the contrary it was awesome, but as an Animal Crossing clone, its advantages come from not being that. If I continue it, it won't be for this challenge. The game constantly kept me busy, I didn't faff around, which may sound like a really strange thing to say negatively, but for the criteria of Animal Crossing, a game like Castaway Paradise that keeps itself away from relaxation brings forth this issue. Being silly and doing nothing builds the feel of Animal Crossing. It is designed to not push you into productivity. Here in Castaway Paradise, being unproductive feels suboptimal, leading to a constant feeling of pressure. You can complete the game at any time if you want to, as opposed to having months of time before you may start to do certain things. As a result, it changes the fundamental feel. I require fathability. It's essential to my Animal Crossing experience, and thus, Castaway Paradise has to go. We are down to 2 finalists, play sessions that last half an hour, and 2 absolutely fantastic games. These 2 Animal Crossing clones are unique in their own ways. They are well made, on their personality, and their gameplay invites so many charming and funny situations. Today is critical in figuring out which of the 2 bridges the gap between Animal Crossings best. So about the prison sentence in Gifpia. Yeah, I lied. I only got caught and then like doubled back to save and see. Not only does Dolphin let you set up keybinds to only walk slowly like halfway through the analog stick, but also you can just walk step by step and you avoid Mapple's penalty. Regardless, the mayor showed me this book of prophecies that is frankly irrelevant before I lent Rumiko a hand at giving her ex a care package in jail. Remember the disaster beanies? Basically, she wants me to give him one of them. Getting Rumiko to tell me what she needed was particularly strange this time around. Granted, it's always been a little strange to need to go get a gem to get basic requests, but this time was even stranger because she only gave me the wish after some frankly unnecessary extra steps. Anyways, I quickly gathered that the wishing gems are going to be necessary as hell, so I opted to binge collecting as many as I could. A surprisingly fast process at about 20 minutes. I also really enjoyed the environment, given the music and everything. It was less monotonous than I expected. Next on the chopping block was this goat. No! Another nightmare. I noticed my friend was missing while going around town to collect shrine mushrooms. His home is empty and I think he likes goats. I don't know, what do you make of this room? He turned out to just be at the burn conserve for Yukio, a goat that hasn't eaten since the earthquake. What the hell do goats eat? It clearly doesn't want anything that's in the barn, and I tried feeding it flowers, mushrooms, cup noodles, turnips. This picky ass goat kept me looking frantically for 30 minutes trying to figure out what it likes. Eventually I figured maybe something from the shop because the goat was sick since before I did Rumiko's quest. It seemed to me possible that you're supposed to help her so she can get back to work, and then you can buy some Nanashi Mart products to help the goat with. Showing her the wish, she sure enough confirms that goats also enjoy Nanashi Mart products. A quick Google search revealed, I am stupid, goats are herbivores, goats don't drink processed milk, but they do eat toilet paper. So yeah, I figured the puzzle from sheer game design intuition. I encountered absolutely no other mention of goats eating toilet paper in any day prior. After feeding our bovine friend, I waited for Kiapi's hint the next morning. Turns out her dad, the mayor, is depressed and missing dinner. What ensues is 20 minutes of roaming the mayor's house in my confusion. Ouch, I hit myself in my confusion! Anyways, I got the bright idea of taking a picture of Kiapi so I could discuss her with the other characters. And she abso-fucking-lutely slapped me again, since I'm supposed to have one at home. Yeah, remember when I mentioned not being able to earn over 10,000 monies at a time? That was a mistranslation. Since I had been in jail, they just gave me back my belongings, including the key to my safe at home, where the 10,000 restriction actually applies.
So that let me get Kiapi's picture from under my TV inside my safe.
I don't know what Pokemon is doing with this. Of my entire playtime today, an hour and a half, I lost 50 minutes not knowing what to do. And I enjoyed every bloody second of it, against all odds. Magician's Quest saw surprisingly little to do in comparison. I did play with Nigel and Frank, but most of the time was spent fishing and looking for stuff to do. The variety of fish and bugs in February is adjacent to none, which resulted in boredom. Today made something very clear. This game is not designed for daily play. Using mystery time for its profitable rewards once a week, maybe, and solving the puzzles of the week, maybe, as well as classes changing on the same interval. This may be a game you don't play daily, but rather every 3 or 4 days. Well, you can grind to make nice houses with decorations. Lacking a depth type feature leaves players with no motivation to log in every day. The game's shallowness is as a result of lacking activities where players feel progression. There are no golden tools and money is largely for store purchases. Mysteries are the only potential objective,
Providing the ballpark of a year of expected gameplay, maybe a tiny bit more since I'm not sure how it works.
It was 70% fun, although... I do wish Mystery Time could be extended or spells came upon you faster, more naturally.
Picture learning spells from other students or having some experimentation mechanic where players develop their own spells.
But I don't know, this is more criticism of the game, and I think I enjoyed my time with it this day as much as I did in the prior days. So, when it's time to choose a winner, I genuinely have no clue. Well, Gifpia does give me that wonder that the original Animal Crossing did, as well as a weird emotion that I can best describe with a combination of words: blissful, comfortable aimlessness in the context of productivity with an inverse nostalgic base and a bashful vulnerability that is superficial enough to feel subconsciously safe.
I can say that its potential lifetime is limited.
Surely exploring the town will be fun in most situations, but charities don't have dialogue pools to keep that aspect buried as you do the game's long-term goals. It's a linear game, and competition seems achievable. I sort of want something that has more of a lifespan.
In contrast, Magician's Quest gives me the relaxing and pointless beauty that I'm looking for.
Having so much stuff to do for weeks to come is exciting, even if the game's slowly daily updates and lack of non-time-based goals are hazy. Villages here are also specific. Every time I look at the list, I found someone like Seth or Steve, each one being a unique model that does wonders to make them stand out. And I must admit my selection for is rather bland compared to what you could get. Like, there's a tomato named Lyko as a villager. Animal Crossing could never catch up? No, we're not talking about condiments right now. Fine, I'll give you that one, but what about this flip phone guy? Could Animal Crossing? Could it? Point this game's a slow burn, maybe too much of a slow burn for me to think it's optimal. So it leaves a lot for me to think about. So here is the kicker. The deal breaker. Since neither of the games have a Nebula shirt, I tragically cannot pronounce any of them a winner. I know. I'm sad. And I know this is the worst out. Fine, okay. Magician's Quest has the Magic Time shirt, which is kind of close. So I guess the balance tips on its favor! Hooray! Congratulations! Okay, no. It's also because of longevity. Gifpia will end. And it's not that buried, you know? The seasons, the possibilities that Magician's Quest applies are much better. Obviously, you don't play 3 hours of Animal Crossing every day, so even if the last play session I did was grueling and dull,
it would be unfair of me to say that I do not enjoy this sort of daily design that these games build themselves upon.
On that note, since I did cover Gifpia here, it would be really lame of me to neglect it and leave it hanging like this forever. If interest is alive, the comment section is a suitable place to tell me I should dedicate a whole other video to it, and I will. I'll wait to see what you guys think before I continue playing on my own. So, 3 hours, here we go! What did I do? What did I do? First off, I lied to you. I just split the session into several days so I can experience the game as it is. Second off, yeah, this is totally not because editing is taking longer than I expected, as usual. The change of the season brought a refreshing air to town. Principal Soul performed the Rainbow Snow Festival to bring the new season about, releasing the remaining snowflakes among town, under a now rainy sky. My eyes, however, weren't looking upwards. I'd rather stare at my friends, my buddies, maybe something else. I remember Nigel and I having our fair share of maniac nights in the past, riding broom collectively. I also recall Frank, who's concentrated more on classic wittiness, a delight to listen to and be around. But the seasonal shift also brought change upon myself.
one cannot spend the time pondering uselessly whether those around them are appealing or otherwise. So for once in my life, I set out to do something about my ongoing situation. To seize the day, collecting every bug and fish I could during March. This could be my completionist sense speaking, but I'm also convinced I simply wanted money to take up a musical instrument. Or that, or eating 5,000 snacks. I am known to do that, to the extent where shrooms are growing within my home from all the garbage, if I might bashfully admit. I've even heard screaming over it. I wonder why they never teach us how to make remedies at school, instead getting classes with Mr. Blad. In a universe so full of enigmas, some of which could frankly be better, one must wonder stuff such as the logistics behind the mountains of wasted time while turning your fish into profits, an activity which has to be done item by item, steadily. One must also ponder a bigger mystery yet. Why the hell is Mr. Blad's class so useless? It has no purpose. But isn't it reminiscent to me? Is my purpose any besides fishing and bug catching until fish are forced to crawl out of my stomach? What use is there for me besides simply being? That's when the rumors commenced and my self-doubt began as well.
Baguette is really cool.
Baguette wants to become a super wizard. But I am not what others anticipate. I perceive myself as merely bread. If you pull on me too hard, I will crumble and vanish into the wind. It was that realization that made me undergo a change, to gain new eyes revealing the true form of this reality, and definitely not just a side effect from binging anime to forget this hard realization. On a day just like the one before, disregarding the shining sun bathing life over the town after the unheating winter, a simple "Aya!" disturbed my trance during class. Jessica. I don't often discuss my numerous classmates that are more distant, such as Mike, whom I don't really talk to. I'd query if I'd even notice if the guy were to just leave one day without a warning. Alice, Jessica, and Janet are frequently my classmates, to the extent where one could believe they know my mannerisms enough to notice something was wrong with me. The panda, at this, took me to a hidden hollow in the woods, with a forest spirit within, a cheerful fella who might be a little bit of an exhibitionist if the long monster peeking out from under its sleeves is anything to go by. Jessica insists it is a nose. I do not agree. The spirit uttered its wisdom. Just a little more effort would be nice. Just a little more. These words rang truer towards Jessica than to me, for I only absorbed the gist, the learning and growth potential that was bestowed onto me. Perhaps all it takes is a small push for me to be better. Suddenly, a spark. The magic within my wand becomes an unquiet wish to explode into colors and shapes as I comprehend the words Jessica wishes to speak, and I comprehend what I myself can do to be better, to have purpose. My wand responds. Have I fallen for yet another person? Or is this a passing feeling? Does she like me back? Is togetherness or communal gold? Would I betray Nigel like this? Go with Jessica and abandon my true feelings to smother into non-existence? What am I truly made? No. I will let my wand decide. And then it happened. Nothing. School was tense the waking morning, perhaps one of the most uncomfortable classes I've ever taken, or have ever been taken inside this classroom, or taken yet, or just taken. The game is pretty good, though Frank keeps kicking my ass at it. Jessica looks as if "Hey ya!" might burst from her lips spontaneously, as usual, but her expression paints the image of a problem. A silent squabble reaches my ears as she composes a careful note, which soon soars towards my seating. Dear Baguette, yesterday was uncanny, wasn't it? I know now I have no opportunity against Frank, I've always known, but the truth is my own feelings towards you are partially unclear. And as I churned in bed last night, I realized my craving wasn't for you, but rather instead for the sentiment of me with another. For what is a panda's purpose beyond existing for others? Words have never felt so appropriate to me, despite mutually feeling a similar issue. Knowledge about this had escaped me, maybe both of us. That's when we faced each other. A motion that caused, for the first time since last winter, a smile. I mouthed, "Thank you." Her smile back was not a genuine one. With her intent, that was true. Beautiful. There we go, sounding like Frank again. The smile faltered soon after, as I began feeling Mike's stare upon us. In a matter of seconds, everything shifted as he witnessed our deepest feelings. No one should know about this, yet a simple careless mistake had occurred, and now, for mine's sake, and for Jessica's. Drastic measures overtook our minds the moment Mr. Oakley left the lecture hall. One does not return from the actions we did just moments later.
If your best friend happened to be a girl,
but that make her your girlfriend. Frank's question left me pondering something. Was he even into broom riding? I hate having to figure out if someone is. I still remember my actions earlier today, now more an unreal nightmare, and yet what happened next could be construed as even stranger. The sky darkened for magic time to begin anew, the vampire squid swimming, the cursor and Pasaran idly floating, and my old habits noticing the opportunity to better my pockets. But no, I can't regress to that version of me, living without purpose or logic, like a foul creature from below. More to it, could it be magic time's acknowledgement by the spirits of my misdeeds, or just mere happenstance? Nigel, he looked at me today again, with the eyes as passionate as Eros himself. We were to enjoy the mystery time together. He even acknowledged it. The principal summoned us to elevate our magic rank once more at the start of this. Perhaps this is a way to better myself, becoming a better wizard and helping others, my friends. And yet, my wand could only produce a single spark still. When it becomes a matter of reason, why have I never considered my skills in wizardry a worthy purpose? This is a long-term achievement I could commit to, and yet time ticked to now before I realized. Mystery Time is always full of incredible creatures, none as beautiful as Nigel's well, I got carried away there. The hero horror from Underground were a fantastic catch, pretty, rare, and worth a pretty sum. I grinned, hell yeah. The waters weren't, however. They had in store unimaginable horrors.
What the fuck did I just get? Human-faced fish? What the fuck is...
I won't let those beasts win, no matter the size. The lines they break their rare sushical forms, I will catch them. What I saw this morning as I returned to my base was actually an allusion towards a new meaning. Every skill can be learned. Harder things can be done. You can write an overly dramatic story at the end of an otherwise unserious YouTube video. You can catch the shark. A struggle set off on the beach, sparkling water and sand erupting as I took the creator to my possession. I would become the greatest. The splashing, the noise, it was all too much, and then abruptly... I had done it. After several attempts, there it lay, in my sack. The mega-mouth shark. I collapsed onto the beach that magical night. I awoke to a familiar island, a low rumbling increasing, becoming louder to reveal a man with a large beard and the semblance of dialogue I had heard from a telegram long ago. In a swift motion, the pirate began his attack. I am to a wizard what a cockroach is to men. An undisputable fact. Notwithstanding, Mr. Blatt's lecture unfogged in my mind's eye. Yup, still as useless. But Jessica, Frank, Nigel, they were there for me, and what I had done to Mike wasn't something anyone could. So with trembling hands, I remembered the spark. A small show of my skill, growing, my emotions. It was time to be the best version of myself. A swift dodge of an attack, placing myself behind the pirate man, and with the concentrated strength of my new self. Thunder! From the sky a spark rained down into my attacker, a light so bright, a thought so strong and powerful that caused the grounds to shake and the gods to applaud. When someone is against the wall, their power unleashes, and the one I hold is too great. As I celebrated my victory and noticed the changes among myself, pondering if I'm even worthy of this power, the pirate fled. I saved and continued to return because it is genuinely faster than the taxi. When I returned, the school felt different, but I felt different as well. As I felt my weak arms and the weaker yet spark at the tip of my wand, I noticed that upon the stairs pillars, a gargoyle had gone missing. But the rumors I once feared led me to find it sleeping inside a cave. A saddened creature, unable to fulfill its raison d'etre, spoke to me. I put myself in its shoes and once again remembered Mr. Blatt's shady lessons. But also Jessica, Frank, and Nigel. I put myself in their shoes. What would it be like to be them? To wear Frank's fancy clothes? To have Nigel's broom riding skills? Under the objective to improve, empathy was my main lacking skill. And I understood Nigel far better than anyone. At some earlier points, I pondered over my ultimate choice with whom I'd wanted to be with. But now I know. Now I know. Yes, I spoke to the gargoyle, raising it from its slumber once again. For the reason it cannot execute its job is due to falling asleep, and I knew just how to help. Pizza. Pizza makes everything better. But the gargoyle fell still. Although a great base, an elusive ingredient to endure the tiredness, was missing to top this pizza off. Far and wide, I searched for this topping with Nigel, pestering Ralph along the way because despite not being a classmate, I keep present in my classmate. His side comes around often. A little bothering was fun. A centipede? Not too exciting, a mushroom made it laugh, but the effect subsided eventually. However, both at once, that elicited a reaction. The beast awoke, energized and reinvigorated. My ability to help let the realization befall me. One does not choose whether they are moral and great, nor if they are competent and useful. It is a combination that makes the being, and not only elements being together. It's elements as one. The gargoyle was to return to its post, and I to keep the secret of our meeting, a feat that did not bother me, as the glory would pale in comparison to the ecstasy of a crystal clear head for once in my life. So that feelings and aptitudes, nothing remained unturned. My strength surged back, a shock of energy coursing through, and my wand felt charged with spark once more. I knew I could produce what I've desired for days now. However, it is not just having the ability or being skilled enough. It's about recognizing the right timing to apply those skills. That moment wasn't now, because tomorrow, Nigel and I would unite, with love and a diminutive helping of magic. We would be one. For I am not only crumbling bread, the dough I am, to be kneaded into a delicacy unto its own elevation, a combination of powders that will make of this peak squeak a matured human. Before I returned to school, something inexplicable befell the world. The game crashed. No, my fourth wall! But it was hilarious to see that they make you scrub the toilets as punishment for not saving. Anyways, I had to replay the whole day, but that's besides the point. This is just a temporary dimensional pocket where the joke did not drag on for 2,000 words somehow. Isn't that the better timeline? Why are we here? I woke up with a genuine smile and accompanied Nigel, feeling like I could do the impossible, think the unthinkable. Fish in the pond, redecorate the classroom, buy the moon as a present. Okay, perhaps that last one is slightly overzealous. Even if Nigel's favorite flower is roses, I know this because I had prior experience, what I wanted today were not roses, but rather margarets. 4 of them. I placed them upon the ground and with Nigel, I showed him my emotional growth for these past 2 weeks. The sky cleared, and flowers fragile and colorful began raining.
Isn't this beautiful, Nigel? We did it! We made something beautiful!
I said, acknowledging Frank's influence in my speech. How grateful I was to have a froggy friend such as him. Playing among the flowers, laughing, enjoying our companionship and closeness to the extent that we were interchangeable with one another. One! As we walked among the shops, I knew it was time. The sky perfect, yet Nigel had his attention on me. I took a hold of my wand and let the colorful sparks finally free. Suddenly, bright color sparks illuminated the space between us as I carefully asked the words that I wanted to, since that magical time we spent below his roof, one far more magical than mystery time. I had never seen Nigel so happy, frolicking among the fireworks, forgetting the cool face and lustrous eyes he always painted upon himself. Nigel and I had come to an agreement. We would ride broom together forever, ever after. As for Frank, I knew how to pull some strings. Under the Margaret sky at Lover's Point, let's just say, Cherry and Frank might be seeing a lot more of each other from now on. Guys, I swear I've never done drugs, I'm just perpetually high, leave me alone. But for real, even if New Horizons isn't a perfect sequel to New Leaf, there are so many games out there that fail to simulate its style. I truly do love Animal Crossing, and I cannot wait for the next game, and I'm glad I found something kinda similar to it. Magician Squad needs some serious upgrades nowadays, but it's also true that those upgrades kind of exist, simply have only been released in Japan. I find this unusual because releasing a localization of the latest game in Switch after New Horizons hit it big was like the right move, and I hope to see they do this someday. On a bonus note, I'd also recommend Fantasy Life. The Girl Who Stole Time should be releasing soon, and that game is basically Animal Crossing, but if it was RuneScape. I omitted it for this video because I had prior knowledge and the game is far too big to cover in parts like this, but I think it warranted a special mention here. Now if you excuse me, I gotta continue making convoluted audio literature about a game where I pretend to have a complex relationship as a child, which I notice now how weird it is, and I'm not sure I should be putting this video on the internet. Nah, if someone doesn't get it as a light joke, they are dumber than Hulk alive.